Hey friends, in today's video we are back at it again with some more Dollar Tree Farmhouse Christmas decor. So I love to do crafts that are really easy for everybody to make if you're a beginner or if you are really great at crafts and you've been doing it a long time. So I love to do things that everybody can do and nobody can get discouraged about doing them. All the materials list is always linked in the description box, so if you guys want to run out and get your supplies, then you will have a list to do that. I wanted to mention that there's also a list of some of my most used craft items. I get a lot of questions about where the links are. If you guys click the title and then a box will appear, there in the box there will be a lot of information, so just read through it. And if you have any questions, a lot of the materials that I used are in the description box. If you cannot find it, then definitely leave a comment and I will do my best to help you. So I just wanted to let you guys know. Also, my t-shirts are linked down below. So if you guys want to be a part of the craft squad and you want to get a t-shirt, then you can find those there, as well as a link in the description box as well. So today's video is in collaboration with Nicole at the Week's Nest DIY and Kristen K. They both do amazing DIYs. I'm always inspired by the things that they do, and I am really good friends with Nicole. She's actually one of my best friends, so I know that she is a genuine soul and I just love her so much. And Kristen K is really the sweetest as well. So their channels will be linked down below as well. I want to thank them for joining me in these projects today. So with all that being said, let's jump right into today's DIYs. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you on the other side. Alright party people, let's start off with the lantern. So I take 4 canvases from Dollar Tree, I take the plastic off and I just take a staple pull and I pull all the staples out of the back. Once I have all the staples pulled out, then I go ahead and I just take the canvases off of the frame. So these frames are a little bit rough once the canvas comes off, so I just take my finger sander and I just sand off the excess little splinters that hang off. Once I have those all sanded down and the splinters off, then I go ahead and I take them and put them together. So I just take a little bit of wood glue, and at first I did like the whole side and then I wiped a little bit off so that this could stick together quick and hold longer. So I just put a little bit of wood glue in the middle and then I put hot glue on each end and then take my clamp and clamp it together. And then I just repeat that step for all of the frames. Next, for the top and the bottom, I had these bamboo cutting boards. So I take those out of the plastic as well, and then I lay them on top of here, and I want to cut these down. So I leave the edges hang off and then mark it, because I don't want one side to be rounded and then the other side to be straight. So make sure that if you cut these, then to cut pieces off of each end so you have a nice square board. Now originally I tried to use this little saw, and then I eventually just cut it with my table saw that my husband bought me. Once I cut that down, then I took a paper towel, or I sanded down the edges and then took a paper towel and dusted it off. So my frame was finally dry, so there was a little bit of glue that had seeped through, so I just took my finger sander and I sanded off all the excess glue, so that way when we stain it, it'll go over, because if any wood glue is hanging off, it will not stain. But I again sanded it, and then I stained it with my favorite stain, Jacobian. I then took my bamboo cutting boards and I just sanded those down as well, because I tried to stain it without sanding it and it just would not stick because it was kind of shiny. I don't know if they have a coating on here or what, but it didn't stick too good. So after I sand it down, then I go ahead and I stain these cutting boards as well. Moving on, we're going to work on the top piece of our lantern. So I took these little decor pieces from Dollar Tree, and they're the octagon shaped ones. So I just flipped over one of them and I took my blow dryer so that I could easily pull these stickers off. So of course I'm impatient and I didn't heat them up enough, so once I pulled them they left a little residue, so I just took my scraper and I scraped the rest of that off. I then took the scraper and scraped the rest of the glue off as well, because there was quite a bit of glue left over, and then I just sanded it down with my sander. Once I had this sanded down, I went ahead and cleaned up, because you guys, I'm so OCD. Even if a little bit of dust gets all over my desk, it literally drives me insane. So that's why I always tell you guys, my little Dyson is like one of my most used tools. It's hanging on the wall right next to my desk. I just pop it right off the base, vacuum up what I need to, and then pop it right back on the charger. So anyway, once I had that cleaned up, then I just take some hot glue and I glue them together. Once I had them glued together, then I just paint the top part white. I did not worry about the bottom part because it's going to be glued down to the top of our lantern and you're not going to see it, so why waste the paint if you're not going to see it? Once I had that painted, then I just take a chip brush and some white Waverly chalk paint, and I dry brush all the way around the top piece, the bottom piece, and all the way around our frame. Once I was done dry brushing, then I just run a bead of hot glue all the way around the bottom edge, and then I glue that right down onto one of our cutting boards. So I then took some hot glue and I glued our top piece down to the top piece. I take some antique wax and a chip brush, and again I dry brush all the way around this top piece. After I do that, then I take one of these little tins from Dollar Tree, I paint that white, and then I dry brush all the way around that with the antique wax as well. Next, I just take a bead of hot glue and run it around the bottom part of that little tin and then glue that down, making sure that my brush strokes are going in the same direction. That way it doesn't look funny if the brush strokes are going one way on the top piece and then another way on the bottom piece. And then I just take some nautical rope and I glue down one side, and then once that was dry, then I glued down the other side to make a handle for our lantern. So you don't want to glue this on because of this next step. So I wanted to put beads on this. I took a ruler and I just marked in the middle so that it would be even, 2 dots, and I'll leave the measurements down below just so that way you guys can get it even, because I don't know why it took me so long, but it took me quite a while to figure out how to get these evenly spaced out. So I marked those, and then I took my drill and a 1/16 drill bit and I drill holes into the top. Now I waited to drill the holes in the bottom just because I wanted to put the wire in there and then pull it down just to make sure that it was perfectly straight. Once I knew that it was perfectly straight, I went all the way around and made marks, and then I took my wire out. I cut 8 pieces, the exact same length as my first one, and then I drilled holes at the bottom. Actually, I drilled holes first, didn't I? I went around and I drilled holes all the way around the bottom, and then I went ahead and I cut all 8 wires, and I did go outside and spray paint them black. Alright, moving on to the fun part. This is where it all starts to come together. So I take one of my wires and I stick it through the top, leaving a little bit at the end so that way I could twist it around so that the beads stay on, and then I strung 14 beads on each. Now at first I started doing it this way, and I quickly realized that it was much easier to just string all your beads on your wire first and then stick it at the top, bend it, and then do not bend it down, just kind of like curl it in, and then I took a pliers and I pulled it through tight. Alright guys, last but not least, you take your favorite ribbon and you just glue that to the top. Now I like this because it's versatile. You can change the bow out and the decor out inside for any season. Moving on to the little star project. So I picked up these stars at Hobby Lobby, and I was not too sure what I was going to do with them. I didn't know if I was going to put lights on them or what I was going to do. And then I got the idea to take these Canadian pine stems that I got from Hobby Lobby as well, and I just wrapped those around each star. Okay, little PSA, you guys. I don't know about you, and I cannot figure out if the contact paper on my desk is crooked or if my camera is just crooked, but the entire time I'm editing, this is driving me nuts, how the lines are not straight. Is it just me, or is it driving you guys nuts too? If it's driving you nuts, I'm sorry, but not much I can do about it after the fact. My camera sits up on like a tripod, so when I'm editing I can't really see the screen. I just hit record and then stop, like when I'm done recording a clip. So until I'm editing, I don't notice it, but I will be on the lookout for that next time. But anyway, I got these little bell garland from Dollar Tree, and they were so cute. So I did just take the silver and red one and wrap it around one, and then the red and green one and wrapped it around another one. I then took these pip berries from Dollar Tree and I wrapped those around as well, and you can see my little helping hands over there. She loves to craft with Mama. So anyway, once I had those wrapped around, then literally all there is to do to these stars is to make bows. Now, or actually I glued some greenery down. This is left over from my little gnome. If you guys have not seen that video, I will link it in the cards in the right hand corner. And I just cut them apart, glued one piece of it on one side and a piece on the other side, and I did that for both. Once I had the greenery glued down, then I just made two simple bows, and then I had this like really skinny green bow or ribbon, so I just made two simple bows out of that as well, and then I glued the green bow down to the red buffalo check. Here we are again, guys. 1:15 in the morning. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, the red buffalo check ribbon, and then I glued both of those down to the middle of where the greenery is at the top. Once I did that, then I just pulled out some dowel rods. I cut them down to be the length that I wanted them. I wanted the smaller star to be like lower than the bigger star, just to kind of offset. I like that look. So if you want your stars to be the same height, then just cut your dowel rods the exact same size. And then I drilled holes into the wooden pieces from Dollar Tree, and then I just stuck my pieces in there. And then that was it for those. So quick and easy, you guys. Oh, I did want to mention that I did paint the dowel rods in truffle waverly chalk paint, but I just love putting together like little stuff like this that is really cheap to make, but it looks high end. Like if I seen these in Home Goods or Kirkland's, I would definitely pick these up, especially for Christmas. I like farmhouse decor, so it's hard for me to kind of go outside of farmhouse decor. So when I see things that go along with my decor, when I don't have to pull everything off, I can kind of pull some pieces off and leave some up because the decor matches it. I love that kind of decor. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys pull everything down for each season and then put it all back up, like, you know, Valentine's Day, Christmas. I literally only decorate for fall and for Christmas, and then like Valentine's Day here and there I'll put up little things, but nothing too major. But the rest of the year, I just leave my farmhouse decor up. And then when I'm decorating for fall and Christmas, I do incorporate some of my everyday decor in with my holiday decor. So I always love chatting in the comments and hearing your guys' stories and your answers. I just literally love answering all your comments. So moving on to this little Santa sign. Now, if you guys have been around for a little bit, then you have heard me talking about Chalk Tour, and I got my order in the mail, my starter kit. I did sign up as a designer, so if you guys are interested in becoming a designer, definitely shoot me an email or leave it in the comments down below with your email and I will email you. But I could not wait to play with my stuff, so I took it's a chalkboard sign from Dollar Tree. Sorry you guys, they're really cheap, so I did paint over it with some ink waverly chalk paint. And then I took my transfer, I fuzzed it with my shirt because my fuzzing cloth from Chalk Couture has not come in yet. But after I fuzzed it, I laid it down where I wanted, and then I just went to town with my different chalks, and I did all different colors, or actually I did red, green, and white. And I did the Santa and all the berries and Santa's hat red. It says Santa approved. So I did the approved in this shimmer gold color. It's so pretty. And then obviously the holly leaves are green. And then his beard is white. And then I didn't have a pink like for his face, so I just did his whole face and beard in white. I really loved the way that it turned out, so it was no big deal to me. But if you guys are looking for the truck and the truck add-on with the buffalo check that I did a few videos back, it is finally back in stock, so let me know that you need the link and I will plug the link into the comment section for you. And that way you can grab it before it goes out of stock, because it is while supplies last, and I'm not sure that they're going to restock it again after this. Also, I did want to mention that if you're going to be spending a lot, like you guys, I go crazy on these transfers. I've had a lot for a long time, and I used to use chalk paint, and the person that I would get them from would be like, don't use chalk paint, it's going to ruin your transfers. And I'm just so cheap, I was like, yeah, whatever. She's just trying to get me to buy product. But now that I use them, I understand why she said that, because chalk paint dries really fast, so it will stain up your transfer, and then you won't get to use it as long. And these are a little bit pricey just because they're excellent quality, and you cannot get this type of detail like doing my method with transferring with graphite paper. Now I will continue to use graphite paper. Chalk Couture is not the holy grail, but for really detailed pieces like this, you're not going to be able to use a Cricut and weed all that out, and you're not going to be able to transfer it and paint over it. So anyway, enough of me rambling on. I took some gold pip berries and I wrapped it around the bottom twice and the top once, because that's all I had. And before I did that, I dry brushed some white waverly chalk paint all the way around, as well as in the middle lightly. I then just made a quadruple bow with a few different ribbons, and you can use my bow trick to do it this way. You just have to take your time with it. So I will leave the bow trick in the right hand corner, and then I glued it down with some hot glue to the corner, and then that was it. You guys, I love this sign so much. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and let me know if you want to get one. So we're going to move on to the wooden tree. I take the tag off, and then I just glued a piece of popsicle stick to the back where the hole is. I filled it in with some lightweight spackling at the front, and then I guess I lost the clip, but I glued beads all the way around the edge of the tree, and then took it outside, as well as a square piece from Dollar Tree, a square wooden piece. I forget what they're called. They come in a pack of 5, and I spray painted them with espresso brown. So while that's drying, I took this triangle piece, I ran my knife along the inside edge, and then went on the outside edge. I separated it from the base, took the tag off, and then I took the scrapbook paper that I wanted to use, traced it, and then I cut it out. Next, I take a glue stick and I just glue right down onto the base. You can glue the paper if you want, it's really up to you, but it's easier to do it this way, just because sometimes the paper wants to stick to whatever you're using. So I then just glue that down and smooth it over. So I wanted to put lights on these, so I just took my pencil and I just randomly drew dots. That way I knew where I was drilling. And then I took a large drill bit, or actually it's like a medium size. I'll get the measurement for you and leave it in the description box in the materials list. I then just drilled all my holes, making sure that it was the back and front where I drilled was as clean as possible. When you use these and you make holes, it leaves kind of like a frayed edge. So I started by trying to sand the edges, but that didn't really work because this is such cheap paper. So I did just pick off the excess, so that way when we stick our lights in, then it'll go through for us nicely. Alright, moving on to gluing it down. Now you can use whatever glue you like. I love this Surebond glue. The link is in the description box because it's really high-end super glue, and it sticks after like 5 or 10 seconds, but for those few seconds you can move it around. And with these square and triangle decor pieces, they're kind of hard to line up after you cut them apart. So I definitely love this super glue because you can move it really quick before it'll stick. And once it's stuck for good. But I just put my lights through those holes. I ran some hot glue around each light just to hold them in place and make sure that they're not going to go anywhere, because let's face it, sometimes they fall right out. And the problem is you don't want to make the hole too big because then they'll fall right through. You don't want to make it too small because then they won't fit snugly. So I just erred on the side of caution and I went not so big, and then I just glued them down so that they stayed in place. And then I also put batteries in the battery pack and glued it to the back. I then took a pretty thick dowel rod. Because this is so top heavy, the dowel rod has to be nice and strong to hold it upright. So I put that to the back, measured it, cut it down to how long I wanted it, and then I took 2 of the wooden, I don't know what you want to call these, wooden branches cut up. Anyway, the wooden pieces from Dollar Tree, and then I took the largest drill bit that I had and drilled through both of those. I then just took my sander, I sanded off the edge, again I cleaned up, and then I took my gold paint from Arteza, and you guys, I love this paint. It goes on so thick. You only need 1 coat. This is outdoor self-healing acrylic paint, meaning that you can set whatever it is you're painting outside and it will not get ruined. So basically it seals it for you without having to do any extra steps. But anyway, I painted that. And then I took this little truck from Dollar Tree. It's in the cobblestone little miniatures, I think they're called, and these little mini trees from Amazon. I got a pack of them. I'll leave them in the description box. They were a really good price, and I think like 45 pieces came in a bag, or 30 pieces. I don't know exactly, but it was a big bag full, and they're all different sizes. So I put 2 little ones kind of in the corners on each side, and then the next size up next to those, and took my ink waverly chalk paint and a very small paintbrush from Arteza. And again, the link to Arteza is in the description box. They're actually having a huge sale this weekend for anything black, like black pens, black paper. So definitely check that out, because everything that is black is 30% off. But I just went over the red parts with the ink waverly chalk paint on this truck. I then took a little teeny star. They were star stickers. I don't even know where I got them from. I think Dollar General, and cut a star down so that it could fit at the top of that little tree. I did dry brush some of that gold on the tree as well. I glued my little truck down to the middle, glued my dowel rod down, and then I reinforced that with some hot glue just to make sure that it would hold. And when I originally stuck those into both pieces, it was still a little bit top heavy, so I did just take another piece and I glued that to the bottom with some wood glue as well as hot glue. And then I took one of these gold stars from Dollar Tree, and I took the sticky thing off the back and glued it to the top. I am so in love with this. My daughter has already claimed it. She's got it in her room right now, and I love it so much. I definitely will be putting it up for Christmas. So moving on to our wooden tree, I take the base piece after it's dried, and I dry brush some antique white, and that is acrylic paint. I don't know why I didn't just use my ivory and waverly chalk paint. I really honestly didn't think about it. I just grabbed it and went with it, but I dry brushed all around the beads as well as in the middle of this tree. Now, normally I would not go this heavy with my dry brushing. I'm just always so nervous. I don't know why, because you can always fix it with like darker paint, but I don't know about you, but I don't want to be doing 20 steps just to fix a mistake. But anyway, I took a wooden star from, I believe, Dollar Tree, if not Dollar Tree, Walmart, and I took my Kona stain and I stained that star. I really like just the natural look for this one, so I really didn't do anything else to it. I was going to dry brush around it, but then I didn't want it to blend in with the tree. So if you want to dry brush it, go ahead. Let me know in the comments down below if you would leave it natural wood looking like this, or if you would dry brush around that star as well. So last but not least, I just glue this down to the base with some hot glue, and then I just reinforce the back with 2 of these Jenga blocks from Dollar Tree. And then that was it for that one. So quick. Look how high-end this looks, you guys. I love my own decor. I mean, I always say not to toot my own horn, but that's why I have a hard time selling it, because when I make it, I just love it so much. Anyway, last but not least, let's move on to these little houses. So again, I just take them off of their base by running my utility knife across where the back meets the frame. I took that same stain Kona and a dabber. I was being lazy to get gloves out and stain it, so I just used a handle brush so I didn't have to worry about getting it all over my hands. But I stained one of them with this Kona, and then the other one I just took some ink waverly chalk paint and I painted all the way around that one as well. Not being totally perfect, I wanted some of that natural wood showing through, so I did not put like a real thick coat on the other one. Next, I just pulled the scrapbook paper that I liked for these. I kind of figured out for this red buffalo check where I wanted it. I don't know, is this gingham or is this buffalo check? I always get the two confused. You guys, I'm sure, will let me know. Anyway, I just trace out the back once again, cut those out, and then took my glue stick and once again I glued them down. Now you're probably wondering why I left the sticker. I have found that when you're using scrapbook paper on these and you smooth it down, you cannot tell at all that there's a sticker under there. So why go through all the hassle to try to remove that sticker if you can't tell it's there anyway? So I just left it. If you want to pull it, you can pull it, but by this time in my projects, I am ready to be done for the second day. I film over the course of 2 days, so by this time I'm kind of all craft out. Anyway, I take these chalkable chips. I got these in my starter kit from Chalk Couture, as well as these little transfers, and I could not wait to use these as well. So I just went ahead and I chalked over them. If you're gonna buy this, or if you have Chalk Couture paste, then you can chalk them whatever color you like. For the star, I originally tried to mix the gold and the white, and then once I pulled it up, I really did not like it. So I did just pull it back up, clean it off, and then I went back over it with the gold. Next, I did the Noel, the same thing. I just chalked that with some red, white, and green. And then I took 2 of the Jenga blocks, glued them together, and then I did another set, glued them to the back of the chalkable chips, and then glued them right to the middle just so that they would pop off our decor piece. Now these, I could not find my glue. I did not know where the heck I put it. I hate when I do that. So I did just glue down the bases with some hot glue. Again, made some simple bows. For the Noel, I made red bows. And then for the star, I just made this natural, it's kind of like burlap and a red stripe through it. And then some gold, and stuck the gold on top of the bow. And then for the red one, that one I did a couple different variations of red as well. And then to finish these off, surprise, surprise, you guys already know what the deal is. I just take my chip brush and I dry brush all the way around the chalkable chip as well as the house piece. And then that was it for those, you guys. As usual, I can never pick a favorite. Let me know in the comments down below which was your favorite. I don't know. I keep going back and forth if it's this natural wood tree or the lantern or the stars. I don't know. You guys let me know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you're new, and introduce yourself in the comments down below, and if you have not subscribed yet, I would love it if you'll become part of my crafty family. I love each and every one of you guys so much. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Share it with your family and friends if you think that they would like it. Those thumbs up and those shares really help my channel to grow and help YouTube to notice me just a bit more, and it would mean so much to me. You guys are my support. You guys are my family. I love each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.